Good morning, students. Today we are discussed about oxen, a natural oxen which occurs in plant. It's indole acetic acid. Now we start the emergence of oxen concept during the latter part of the 19th century. Charles Darwin and his son Francis studied plant growth phenomena involving tropism. One of their interests was the bending of plants towards slides. This phenomena, which is caused by differential growth, is called phototropism. In some experiments, the Darwin used seedling of canary grass (Phalaris canariensis), in which the youngest leaves are sheeted in a protective organ called coleoptile. Coleoptile and very young seedlings are highly sensitive to light, especially to blue light. If illuminated on one side with a short pulse of dim blue light, they will bend, grow towards the source of the light pulse within an hour. The Darwin found that it was the tip of the coleoptile that perceived the light, for if they covered the tip with foil, the coleoptile would not bend. But the region of the coleoptile that is responsible for the bending towards the light, called the elongation zone, is several millimeters below the tip. Thus, they concluded that some sort of signal is produced in the tip, travels to the elongation zone, and causes the shade side to grow faster than the illuminated side. The Darwin published the results of their experiments in 1881 in The Power of Movements in Plants. There followed a long period of experimentation by many investigators on the nature of the growth stimulus in coleoptiles. It was known that if the tip of a coleoptile was removed, coleoptile growth ceased. Researchers attempted to isolate and identify the growth promoting chemical by grinding up coleoptile tips and testing the activity of the extract. But this approach failed because grinding up the tissue destroyed the active compounds when cellular compartments were disrupted. The research culminated in 1926 with Fritz Wand's demonstration of a growth promoting chemical in the tip of oat coleoptiles, Aviana sativa coleoptiles. Wand's major breakthrough was to avoid grinding by allowing the material to diffuse out of excised coleoptile tips directly into gelatin blocks placed on one side or other of the top of decapitated coleoptile. These blocks could be tested for their ability to cause bending in the absence of unilateral light source, because these substances that diffused from the coleoptile tips into the gelatin blocks promoted the elongation of the coleoptile section. It was eventually named auxin from the Greek word auxein, which means to increase or to grow. The next step were to chemically identify these substances and to understand its production, destruction, and action. The principal auxin is 3-indole acetic acid. Van studies with gelatin and later agar blocks demonstrated that unequally the growth promoting influence diffusing from the coleoptile tip was a chemical substance. The fact that it was produced at one location and transported in minute amounts to its site of action qualified it as an authentic plant hormone. In the mid 1930s, it was determined that the principal natural auxin is indole acetic acid. Several other auxins in higher plants were discovered later, but IAA is by far the most abundant and physiologically important because the structure of IAA is relatively simple. Academic and industrial laboratories were quickly able to synthesize a wide array of molecules with auxin activity. Some of these compounds are now used widely as herbicides in horticulture and agriculture. In general, auxins are defined as compounds with biological activities similar to those IAA, including the ability to promote cell elongation in coleoptile and stem sections, cell division in callus cultures in the presence of cytokinins, formation of adventitious roots on detached leaves and stems, and other developmental phenomena associated with IAA action. Here we will see the experiment of Wendt for regarding auxin research. There is a oat seedling which is 4-day old, which has a coleoptile. In Darwin 1880, intact seedling curvature in the presence of light. When the tip of coleoptile excised, there is no curvature. Opaque cap on its tip, there is also no curvature. From experiments on coleoptile phototropism, Darwin concluded in 1880 that a growth stimulus is produced in the coleoptile tip and is transmitted to the growth zone. Next is Boysen-Janssen experiment of 1913. In a mica sheet inserted on dark side, mica sheet inserted on light side, and when they remove tip, plant doesn't show any phototropism, and when the tip placed on gelatin, plant show normal phototropic curvature. In 1913, Boysen and Janssen discovered that the growth stimulus passes through gelatin but not through water impermeable barriers such as mica. Pahl in 1913. First he removed the tip, then tip replaced on one side of the coleoptile stem and then growth curvature develops without a unilateral light stimulus. In 1919, Paul provided evidence that the growth promoting stimulus produced in the tip was chemical in nature. And then in 1926, F. went, he put coleoptile tips on gelatin sheet, and tips are discarded and gelatin cut up into smaller blocks and placed on one side of coleoptile stumps. Coleoptile bands in total darkness, angle of curvature can be measured. In 1926, F. W. Wendt showed that the active growth promoting substances can diffuse into a gelatin block. He also devised a coleoptile bending assay for quantitative oxygen analysis. Increasing powerful analytical methods and the applications of molecular biological approaches have recently allowed scientists to identify oxygen precursors and to study oxygen turnover and distribution within the plant. Depending on the information that a researcher needs, the amount or identity of oxygen in biological samples can be determined by bioassay, mass spectroscopy, or enzyme linked immunoassays. IA is synthesized in meristem and young dividing tissues. IA biosynthesis is associated with a rapidly dividing and growing tissues, especially in shoots. Although virtually all plant tissues appear to be capable of producing low levels of IA, shoot apical meristems and young leaves are the primary sites of oxygen synthesis. Root apical meristem are also important sites of oxygen synthesis, especially as the roots elongation and mature, though the root remains dependent on the shoot for much on its oxygen. Young fruits and seeds contain high levels of oxygen, but it is unclear whether this oxygen is newly synthesized or transported from maternal tissues during development. Oxygen accumulates at the tips of very young leaf primordia of Arabidopsis. As the leaves develop, oxygen accumulation are detectable at the leaf margins but gradually shift toward the base of the leaf and later no central region of the lamina. The basipital shift in oxygen production correlates closely with and is probably causally related to the basipital maturation sequence of leaf development and vascular differentiation. The GUS beta glucuronidase, a reporter gene, is a useful analytical tool because its activity and location and in the tissue can be visualized by treating the tissue with a substrate that produce a blue color when hydrolyzed with GUS enzyme. By genetically transforming plants with the GUS reporter genes fused with the DNA promoter sequence that responds to oxygen, it is possible to interfere the distribution of free oxygen in discrete groups of cells or the distribution of free oxygens whole organ. Wherever free oxygen reaches a minimum threshold level, GUS expression occurs and can be detected as a blue color. As Auxin appears to accumulate at specific sites at the margins of young leaves. These are the sites of future hydrathoids, gland-like modifications of the ground and vascular tissues that allow the release of liquid water through pores in the epidermis in the presence of root pressure. During early stages of hydrathoid differentiation, a center of high auxin accumulation can be interfered from concentrated dark blue GS strain in the lobes of young serrated leaves of Arabidopsis. So it's finished. It's completed. Thank you, students.